Hey YouTube. So this is another thought of the day. Um, Thinking about things, couldn't really help but notice that there's no better predictor for success in this country than wealth. Now, I know that might sound like a no-brainer to some folks, many folks even, but that's really a strong statement. So to illustrate the point, if you think about the fact that you can be born to poverty and be way above average on intelligence, you can be strong, you can be fast, you can have every positive human virtue imaginable, but be born poor, and you have a lower chance of success in a society that's based on wealth than a completely mediocre, or honestly even below average, wealthy person. Now, there's various reasons for that. One is the connections, and because of the connections, a lot of those appearances can be dissolved. You don't know that you hired someone that's stupid because they have a degree from a prestigious institution. No insult intended with the use of stupid. Below average intelligence. Some people are, some people aren't. It's the way it is. The point is, there's nothing that competes with that advantage. And the reason is because that advantage is outside of nature. It doesn't exist any place except in a faultily built society. Society can make completely illogical rules that promote success for people with lesser abilities. They can do the opposite. This is up to society. Society structures itself. I've heard people talk about the ideas behind society as social Darwinism, and it's an extraordinarily insulting reference, because of course Darwinism, for anybody who knows and or believes it to be true, or evolution, is the concept that the species improves relative to its environment and becomes more capable in that environment. Now, the problem with attaching the concept of Darwinism to society is the society is the one that creates the rules, or some element of the society creates the rules. So the species isn't adapting to the society, they're being adapted by the society. It's a completely different issue. And it tends to resolve itself into a situation where, of course, you're creating your worker bees, and then you're elite. And your elite, I don't have... they have what traits they have, because once the wealth is entrenched, it doesn't encourage improvement. They don't get better. They only get worse. If you look at family lines throughout history, nobility, so on and so forth, you see inbreeding, you see rare genetic disorders that shouldn't ever come into existence, and wouldn't, because they'd be self-controlled by nature, popping up. Hemophilia with various czars in Russia, I think a few British ones, British royalty, not czars obviously, but interchangeable terms, doesn't matter. The point is, we're creating a society, a regressive society. We're creating a society that is making people weaker, and the people who are most affected by the weakening are actually, not surprisingly, at the top. But that's no big deal. I mean, it's great that the people in the other positions are still under some effect of evolutionary practices, nature. That they're encouraged to be strong and capable and adaptive. But you don't want to allow a situation to continue where the people who are least fit to rule are the ones who are ruling. If somebody's got to rule, I personally don't think that's necessary, but that's a comment for another day. So to some particulars, what we've seen in the past several decades is some real abuses of the court systems and the Constitution. The Constitution is the document that is the basis upon which all legal authority is presumed to come for anything that the government does. That's the document that establishes the government as a righteous government and grants it the power to act on our behalf. That's its purpose. But it also has guidelines in place that tell the government and the people, remind the people, if the government doesn't behave this way, that it's not a government. It's not acting with the support of the document that it's using. It has gone from being a government that is of, by, and for the people to a government that is of, by, and for the wealthy. Now, maybe you don't think we're there yet. I think we are. Even if you don't think we're there yet, I think you can probably see how we're heading that direction. One of the points with respect to this issue is the intermingling of business and government. Business exists to make money. That's why business exists. Business cannot be expected to be moral. Cannot even really be expected to be ethical. Business wants to make money, and they will do what they can to do so. That's their purpose. That's their only purpose. Government's purpose is to regulate business, because business not be trusted to regulate itself. It can't be. This has been proven countless times throughout history. Every industrial accident, every fire, every everything that business has done that's been a human rights violation or just basically cruel and thoughtless. The practices in terms of paying their employees, the pyramid that inevitably resurfaces. Business cannot be trusted to regulate business. But if you look at the political landscape, you can't really tell where business ends and government begins, or government ends and business begins. They're deeply intertwined. From the privatization of prisons to businesses being able to donate funds to politicians to get them elected. I mean, that's even above board at this point. Not that it wasn't happening before, but at least it was actionable. Nobody was acting on it, clearly, because if they were, then they would have been a little too shamefaced to actually put it into law, I would imagine. But that's where we're at. So business is regulating business, and government is not protecting the people. When government does regulate the people, government should not be regulating the people. They should be regulating business. People can do what they want. You want to eat a cheeseburger, and cheeseburger's bad for you, and this and that and the next thing. That's your business. That's entirely your business. It's your life. But we see laws cropping up that say it's not. They say that your life can be regulated, but business can't, and it's a strange it's a strange paradigm. That's slavery. That's what that is. When the businesses make the rules and the small time people, the private citizens, don't, and private citizens are beholden to any number of laws, both regulatory and punitive. When the wealthiest people in the world, or the country even, are getting free passes, what you're looking at is slavery. That there's no other way to put it. This is why the Constitution was drafted. The Constitution was drafted because America rejected British rule. Now, did they just want to do what they wanted to do? Yeah, probably. Was British tyrannical? Yes. Yes, it was. And that makes it easy to get sympathetic opposition, one would think. We need the happy medium back, and we're nowhere near it. We are entirely regressive as a society at this point, and so at the bottom here I've got a couple of things that I think would be a start in the right direction for helping to address the problem. They're just a start. They're just a couple of the things that I've noted. It's a much bigger problem than this. But anyway, so the lobbying, the legalized bribery, those have to go. Usury in this country, and they enforce. There's still a law against usury. Usury is excessive interest, but it's awfully high, and frankly, it shouldn't even. It should be at zero. The legality of charging interest is the entrenchment of wealth. That's what it is. It's profit for nothing. Profits. If you saw one of my earlier posts, you saw that profit isn't actually about trade. It's war, but interest is profit for nothing. It's guaranteed profit. It's profit over time. I mean, presumably it's not, because maybe you don't pay it back, but there are repercussions for that. There are institutional repercussions for that allow them to either write it off, which means you don't pay it, everybody else paid it. That's what that means, because that's what a tax write-off is. Any number of things. Anyway, that's enough out of me for today. Talk to you later.